Hello, everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today because we're jumping straight into a truly beautiful and transformative concept from Nicol Heard. She's a brilliant writer based down on the gorgeous surf coast of Australia, and her whole philosophy is beautifully coastal inspired. We're going to be looking at her ideas on conscious living, spiritual maturity, and how our viewpoint literally shapes our reality. Specifically, we're going to unpack her incredible metaphor of the diamond to understand how we navigate relationships, conflict, and truth. So, get comfortable, and let's explore why recognizing the limits of our own view might just be the absolute biggest game changer for your life. I want you to just let this sink in for a second. Your perspective is real, but it is rarely the whole picture. We so often reckon that if someone else sees things differently, it somehow invalidates our own view, right? But that's absolutely not the case. Your perspective is completely valid, it is real, it's yours. The fundamental takeaway here, though, is that it's incomplete. It's really just one piece of a much, much larger puzzle. Section 1. The Illusion of Truth. Okay, let's dive right into this first chapter by exploring how easily we mistake our personal vantage point for absolute objective reality. You know, every single one of us experiences life through a highly customized lens. Think about it. Your history, your personal beliefs, your deepest fears, your highest hopes, all those stories you've lived, and even the ones passed down from your family, they all create a filter. And because this filter is quite literally all we've ever known, what we see naturally appears to be the absolute truth. And hey, you aren't wrong or uninformed. Your perspective is often highly accurate. It's just that you're looking from a very specific, deeply conditioned place. Section 2. The diamond in the room. This is where Nicol's ideas build into a brilliant visual metaphor of a diamond sitting right in the center of a room. Imagine a stunning, multifaceted diamond sitting right smack in the middle of a room. Now, picture 10 different people standing in a circle around it. If you asked each person to describe what they saw, you'd get 10 completely different descriptions. Based purely on where they're standing, one person might point out a really sharp edge. Another might be absolutely blinded by a dazzling reflection. Someone standing around the back might focus entirely on a tiny imperfection in the stone, while the person next to them is mesmerized by the way light moves through one specific facet. They are all looking at the exact same diamond, but experiencing something totally unique. So I want to ask you a really pivotal question here. What happens when you move? Seriously, what actually occurs when we stop fiercely defending our fixed spot on the floor and just take a few steps to the left or right? This brilliantly illustrates how the diamond itself hasn't changed at all. Only our capacity to see it has. As you move around that diamond, something absolutely fascinating happens. That facet you thought was completely dull, suddenly it catches the light. A harsh end from your old spot reveals itself as part of a much larger, beautiful pattern. And that perceived flaw actually becomes part of the diamond's overall brilliance. The reality of the object stayed exactly the same, but your physical movement unlocked a completely new truth. The absolutely crucial point here is that shifting your perspective isn't about giving up your boundaries or deciding your original view was wrong. Not at all. It's simply about expanding your view. It's becoming deeply curious about what else might be true and being willing to look at the exact same situation from a different angle without abandoning your position. You don't have to throw away your truth just to acknowledge that another angle exists. Section 3. The Trap of Certainty. Let's shift our focus to a major roadblock in our personal growth, which is the agonizing trap of absolute certainty. Now, what's really interesting here is the stark contrast between discernment, which accelerates our growth, and certainty, which completely stops it dead in its tracks. Discernment is essential. It stays open, it weighs the evidence, it asks questions, and most importantly, it's willing to be wrong. Certainty, on the other hand, it just slams the door shut. It stops asking questions and treats its current understanding as final. I want to remind you that so much of our daily suffering, and I mean that real, exhausting, frustrating suffering, comes from trying to force reality or other people to change. We wear ourselves out trying to make them see exactly what we see. But the invitation here is beautifully simple. The invitation is not to change the diamond. You can't. Instead, change where you are standing. Just move your own feet. Look again, listen again, and allow another facet to reveal itself to you. Section 4. Walking around the diamond. Okay, let's explore how we actually apply this practice in real life, especially in our relationships with the people we love. This is where the whole metaphor requires deep, deep compassion. We so often reckon we know exactly what's best for our loved ones, don't we? We think we know how they should heal or what path they should take. But we have to remember, every single person is standing at their own facet. They're seeing things we simply cannot see, and they're living internal experiences we cannot fully understand. We can't choose their healing for them because their journey and their choices belong solely to them. So since we cannot force their growth, how do we show up? We show up with genuine compassion, deep curiosity, and a real willingness to listen. Actually, scratch that. It's more than just a willingness. Listening literally becomes our most powerful tool. Since we can't force them to see our side of the diamond, it's through truly listening that we get to discover their facet. Section 5. Embracing spiritual maturity. Finally, let's tie all of this together by looking at how this continuous movement leads us to true spiritual maturity. This captures the absolute essence of Nicol Heard's message. Spiritual maturity is not needing to be right. It's dropping that ego-driven demand that your perspective has to win the argument. Instead, it's the quiet, confident willingness to walk around the diamond again and again. The more perspectives we can comfortably hold without feeling threatened, the more light we can ultimately see in our lives. So, I want to leave you with this lingering thought today. What is waiting on the facet you haven't considered yet? Sometimes the exact thing we've been desperately searching for, the peace, the resolution, the understanding, is waiting right there on the angle we've been ignoring. I encourage you to step out of certainty, embrace the curiosity, and keep walking around that diamond. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your diamond journey.